Germany is expelling 2 Iranian diplomats to protest a death sentence imposed in Tehran against a German-Iranian activist accused of terrorism. Human rights organizations say Jamshid Sharmahd was abducted abroad and forcibly taken to Iran. The European Union has joined the German government in condemning the death sentence.
2 Iranian diplomats expelled from Germany at short notice, as a response to the death sentence handed out to Jamshid Sharmahd, a dual Iranian-German citizen, here pictured during his first hearing at an Islamic revolutionary court in Tehran. Iran claims he is the leader of an outlawed pro-monarchist group that carried out the deadly bombing of a mosque in 2008. Family and human rights groups reject the accusations against the journalist and software engineer who is a U.S. resident. In a tweet, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz criticized the verdict. The Iran regime is battling its own people in every imaginable way and is disregarding human rights. The death sentence against Jamshid Sharmahd is unacceptable. We condemn it in the strongest terms and call on the Iran regime to overturn the ruling. The German Foreign Ministry says it's working to provide consular support to Sharmahd. Iran has so far denied access to him as it doesn't recognize dual nationality for Iranians. The Iran-born leader of the German Green Party, part of the governing coalition, says Germany is taking steps in the right direction in dealing with the case.
If a German citizen is executed in Iran because he's a journalist, then there won't be any normalization of relations with Iran, not for the foreseeable future, not with this regime.
The court's decision can still be appealed. Despite the difficult circumstances, Sharmahd's family and the German government hope that his death sentence can be overturned.
And now I'm joined by Gazelle Sharmahd. She is the daughter of Jamshid Sharmahd. She joins me now from Los Angeles. It's good to have you on the program. We appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. I just want to ask you, are you in contact at all with your father now?
No, unfortunately, I can't talk to my father anymore. In the first year, when they kidnapped him, I was still allowed to talk to my dad, but it was not out of human reasons because they wanted my dad to talk to me. It was to put pressure on me to provide false evidence for their court hearings. They wanted me to write a letter, to write that my dad is a terrorist leader, all of those things. And they wanted to access on my computer. And of course, we refused. Since then, I'm not allowed to talk to my father anymore. And my mother was last year only allowed to talk to him 2 times in 1 year. And all of those phone calls are completely controlled by the people who are sitting right next to him. So it's not a free talk, and he can barely tell us what's going on.
And Gazelle, have you been given a reason? Have they told you why you can't speak with your father now? I mean, have they given a reason?
Yeah, as I said, we did not cooperate with them. They were planning to start show trials the next year and to portray my dad as a criminal, as a terrorist. That's what they do with opponents. That's what they do with critics. They want to show them as bad people so they can execute them in their system. And they wanted me to take part in it and write these letters and use them. And I said no. And they broke off the contact for 9 months. We did not know if my dad was alive. And now it's only sporadically when my mom can talk to them.
Well, help us understand exactly what happened with your father. I understand you say that this was not an arrest. You say your father was abducted and that happened outside of Iran. Tell us what happened.
Yes, absolutely. This is an ongoing kidnapping because we still don't know where my father is. There is no prison where we have access to where we can see where he is. They're keeping his location still secret. This is an ongoing kidnapping. My father was on a short business trip traveling from Germany to India, and he had to stop in Dubai. That was during the pandemic. His flight got canceled. He stranded there, and that's where they kidnapped him. My mom was very worried when she found out that he was waiting for his next flight in Dubai. But he opened up his Google tracker where she can see where he is. And on the Google tracker, she could see, while he was not responding to us, while he was not picking up the phone anymore, that his location was moving towards Oman and then over the border of Oman towards the coast, and that's where it broke off. The very next day, the Islamic regime released a video where he is blindfolded with a swollen face, and he's forced to confessions. And then the intelligence minister of Iran said he was taken in a complex operation. So this is a kidnapping, and it's still not been acknowledged by even Germany or the US that a German citizen was kidnapped. We're not even talking about that.
Well, I mean, that's one point. I mean, the fact that this is going to be news to a lot of people. How is the Iranian government, how do they say there was a connection at all with this charge of terrorism and your father?
The Islamic regime has done this for 44 years. They're always taking things that go on in their country, for example, explosions, anything that goes on, any misery that goes on, and use them as turn them into terror plots and say, oh, this was Mossad, this was the CIA, these are outside people, these are terrorists that are doing things. And here, when you report about them and when you talk about them, then they try to find a connection there. They have done this over and over. You can see right now what they're doing with the protesters. They're not saying we're going to execute you because you protested. They say, oh, you killed a Basiji, or you killed somebody from our government, and they use this to execute people, to silence people, but these are false charges. Nothing about it is true, and I hate when it's always repeated. These charges are false.
And Gazelle, the German government today did expel 2 Iranian diplomats from the embassy here in Berlin. We also understand that the European Union has condemned the death sentence for your father. This is action. Is it the kind of action that you and your family want to see?
It is a very good first step. I'm glad that finally we can see some actions going on. It is very late. I don't know when they were able to expel these people. Why wasn't it done when a German citizen was kidnapped and taken to Iran and is being tortured for 930 days in isolation? Why does it take this charge to do that?
Gazelle, are you in touch with the German government? Anyone from the Foreign Office? Anyone who's talking to you as a liaison between your family and your father via the German government? Are you in touch with anyone here in Berlin?
Yes, we're talking to the foreign ministry, of course. It's not somebody who can tell us anything about what is really going on, what they're doing behind the scenes, but we have somebody who talks to us. It's the same person who would probably talk to you and give you the same information. That's another problem, that we don't have insight into what is being really done to save my dad. We don't have a person there that can answer my questions on. Is this going to be the first step and the only step, or what's going on?
Because I've got about a minute left. I just want to make clear. So you are in touch with the foreign ministry here in Germany, but you're not satisfied with what Germany is doing for your father, who's a German citizen, right?
I'm not briefed on that. Yeah, no, of course not. They don't tell me what they're going to do. That this is a big problem, and I'm always asked, what do you want them to do? Which I have no idea. This is about a. Go ahead. Were you going to say something?
You can finish your thought. We've got about 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Yes. By profession, I am a nurse. I save lives, and it's the same. It's the same thing as if my patient would come to me and say, "Is this enough? Have we done enough to save this patient's life?"
Yes.
I am the professional. I should know how to save lives, and our governments have the same responsibility. They have to save our people's lives, our citizens' lives, and I have not seen that, and it's very, very late. But I hope that from now on we will see some real action.
Gazelle Sharmahd, the daughter of the German Iranian activist Jamshid Sharmahd, we appreciate you taking the time telling us the story
Thank you so
behind
much.
your father. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.